One Night Stand is a 1997 film written and directed by Mike Figgis, and we have a cast including Wesley Snipes as Max. We also have Robert Downey Jr., Thomas Hayden Church, John Ratzenberger's in it. It's because of Ratzenberger that I became aware of the film, and having now watched it, I can say that it's fine. It's not interesting. The characters are not that fascinating, but I do think Max is a very believable protagonist. Not necessarily well, sometimes he was interesting, but not all of the way through. But I do think he was very, very believable. At the start of the film, very early on in the film, he has a one-night stand. And he then goes home to his wife, his family, and it eats away at him. And I won't say what happens after that, but it definitely took some really emotional turns, not just with how it affected Max, but also just other subplots and parts of the film. So it's quite a heavy film, and I think it's a very well written narrative. Again, it's maybe not the most interesting at times. Certainly, I'd say the second half gets more interesting. The first half was a little slow, but the second half's quite fascinating. But it's well written in the sense that the pacing is very good. It's quite unexpected with the direction things take, and the characters are well enough written. Not all of them are that interesting, but they're still well written. So there's nothing really wrong with it at all. It just maybe wasn't the most fascinating from start to finish. But at times, it was interesting. But I think for me, Max was the most fascinating aspect because I found his character to be very believable and sometimes interesting. Wesley Snipes gave a really great performance. If you're a Ratzenberger fan, he's in it a little bit. Not too much, but nevertheless, I think everybody gave a great performance. The characters are all generally okay. Max is sometimes quite interesting, but always very believable. The narrative itself, always very believable with what was happening. The pacing, certainly in the second half, was very good. Certain aspects of the narrative are fascinating. A lot of it is very unexpected, and that part of it I thought worked really well. So, as I said, it's fine. It's an okay experience. I'm not going to say I loved it from start to finish, but there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe the first half could be a bit more interesting, but other than that, there's nothing really wrong with the story, and there were times when it was interesting. So, if it sounds like it might appeal to you, then I'd say check it out. It does get quite heavy at times. It's not the easiest watch, but I'd say when it gets heavier, that's when it starts to get more interesting because there are a lot more emotions. And I think it's quite easy to feel those emotions as a viewer, to connect with the characters in those moments. So in general, it's never going to be my favourite film, but I don't have any real complaints. And if One Night Stand appeals to you, then I'd say it's worth watching.